to the chat, so I will rely on you guys. I am
It's okay. I got you.
overwatch on my son, who unfortunately has a urinary tract infection. So it's just
those are never fun. I sympathize.
a nonverbal child.
Right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started.
Medic!
I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 735 of the Overseas Connection podcast. We are back, baby. Back from Las Vegas. We survived. We've got some tales to tell. We have some tales not to tell. It's May 28th, 2023, and expect pandemonium. My name, Greg DeLacy, gamertag Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter. And normally every Sunday, we're broadcasting bright and early, if you will, in the UK at 9 p.m. I know it's not bright and early, but it's as bright and early as it's going to be for us. 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast. And then if you happen to be out in the Central Time Zone, I'm sorry, it's 3 p.m. there. We are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. And that all out of the way, with me, we have the left out one, Kim Woods.
Howdy. Yeah, that's me. Left out again.
All right. Then we have survivor number 1, Pete Chin.
Yes, just about.
And last but certainly not least, survivor number 2, Robin Tate.
I am completely brain dead at this stage. Don't expect much from me tonight.
Never do.
What a glorious time we had out in Las Vegas. For those that don't know, both myself, Robin, and Pete, Kim was invited. All were out in Las Vegas, along with a couple of others. We'll talk about them too. Mike and Lee. But out in Las Vegas, having a grandiose, what amounted to a guys' weekend. Just a guys' weekend of stuff. And we'll talk about that. We're going to get into all of that.
Sorry.
There's no birthdays to speak of, so we're just going to dive into it. Let's get into it. Story time. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Hooray, story time. Hooray, story time. I'm so glad to be with you today.
All right, let's get the stories that nobody cares about out of the way. First, Kim, what is going on with you?
Oh, well, I didn't get to go to Vegas. I've got nothing exciting other than I got a new coffee pot. I mean, that's exciting for me. Anyway,
Is it just a pot or is it the actual maker?
No, it's both. It's got I guess you call it the carafe, and it also has the K-cup feature on it too. So that way, if we only want one cup of coffee in the afternoon instead of a whole, but this way I can set a timer in the night before, and in the morning I can wake up and there's coffee already. I'm not, dragging my ass and going, God, I still got to make the coffee. So, it's nice. It's a Keurig, a Keurig Duo Plus or something like that. Anyway, it's real nice. It's got a smaller footprint than the one I had, so it doesn't take up as much room, and so far so good. So yeah.
It doesn't take up as room, and it does more. That's good.
Exactly. And it's got a stainless steel carafe, so I'll never break it, because that was another problem, because let's face it, I'm a klutz and I have pets and children. So something will end up, breaking it at some point. So
fair play.
Yeah.
I will have to say, waking up to coffee already made and the smell wafting through the kitchen as you come, is one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Right.
I forget to do that often. However, this morning I did remember to do that. And it didn't matter at all. I will talk about that shortly.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a glorious feeling when you.
It is, and I
walk
feel
out to
less
coffee
like a
made.
dirtbag because Dad gets up early in the morning and he makes breakfast, and it's my job to make coffee. Well, if I'm laying there in bed for the next 15 minutes trying to catch that last little bit of sleep, and then of course he moves on and from making breakfast to making coffee, and then I feel like a jerk. So
I like that you took that to an extreme. You went dirtbag, not just a jerk or but you went dirtbag. I mean, that's pretty harsh on yourself, Kim.
I know, but I figure if a 72-year-old man can drag his ass out of bed at 5:30 in the morning to make breakfast, I gotta be able to drag my butt out of bed and make the coffee. So
Funny, I felt the same way about the old man that brought me coffee in the morning in Vegas, but we'll talk about that again in a moment. Okay, apparently I did screw up. And I'm going to put this on me, even though it really wasn't my fault because I didn't update these notes. But we do have some birthdays to talk about here. So real quickly, is it Denai? Denai Wood? Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah, Dan.
44, June 1st. That's just a couple days away, and that's quite the number. Not quite 45. Which is kind of pleasant because you can say I'm not 45 yet. Because once you turn 45, it really does feel like things have really turned for the worse.
You're not making me feel very good about this, considering I'm turning 45. So
you're welcome, Kim. Paul Barry Hicken. Yeah, it's even worse, Kim. He turned 49. Sorry, Paul. That's on the 2nd of June. He'll be 49. So that's the step next to Oblivion. And then Andrew Wells has already turned that corner of Oblivion. There's really nothing left for Andrew to look forward to. 53 on the 3rd of June. Ironically, these the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's kind of crazy how that lined up.
And all you can hope for is a great care home package.
Yeah.
End it, Andrew. End it now.
Yeah. And again, I'm just looking at these and how they lined up. I mean, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and ironically, in order of almost bad to just around the corner from bad and to, oh my God, it's really happened already.
Well, I mean,
so yeah.
Debbie Emery's on the 4th, but she doesn't really count because I went to school with her. So,
well, we don't count her then. No, absolutely not. Okay.
Looks a lot better now than she did in school. Anyway,
sometimes the ugly duckling, right? The black swan. Kim, real quickly, I know you wanted to be positive. We were talking about the coffee maker, but I gotta ask you about the cats. What's been going on with the cats?
Okay. We've got a cat assassin in our midst. I don't know who it is or what it is, I guess I should say, because I don't think it's Robin.
It's Stanley.
But over the last I know, I'm sorry. But over the last couple of weeks, I went from a litter of 5 kittens. I now have 2. And and I've got 2 of the older cats that are missing. I don't know that it's attacked them yet, but they've suddenly disappeared and haven't come home yet, so I don't know where they are. So, yeah. So I had to bury the last one, which I heard last night at 2 o'clock in the morning, roaming around the house, outside the house, meowing. And I thought, I really ought to get my ass up and go out there and find it and put it on the porch with the rest of them, but I didn't. And then this morning we found it. So I should have.
That's like straight up out of a horror movie. The person's running around begging for people to open the door and call the police and save them, and everybody ignores them, and the next thing you know, they're dead.
And now, this is a black fuzzy little kitten, and I rolled over and went back to sleep. And this morning we found it no longer among the living. So
did you hear anybody shout 50 before?
God, I forgot about the 52 freaking.
No, I did not. So, but I don't know. I have to figure it out. I have to find it. And when I do figure out what it is, I will go Rambo on its ass, and it will no longer be killing any more of my kittens. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And Robin has already apologized. Kim, you had put in the notes that you unfortunately were playing Gravedigger, and Robin took this as a game. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not familiar with that game. What game are you playing?"
Sounds good.
Whoops.
Oops.
It's all right. It's okay.
But
excuse me, just 1
we
second.
are sorry
please.
to hear about the losses of the kitties. Of course, we know that's old hat for Robin.
Yeah.
He has killed countless animals, not just cats. All right. It's time. We do need to discuss, Pete, the trip that just took place. Robin has conveniently walked away. He's running away from the stories, I think. But so we had this trip, Las Vegas. We set out. Now, I will tell from my perspective, and then I'm going to have you guys color in things because I think it's appropriate I start since I got there first, and then you guys will finish it up because you, of course, left last.
You're far better at explaining things than me, so you carry on.
For a minute, I wondered what the hell Boomer was doing, or Robin. Holy shit.
Well, yeah. Robin was polishing his bottle.
That's what I
thought. So I had already booked my plane flight originally to get in around 7:00. So I was originally going to get in the same time as Pete, Mike, and their friend Lee.
What's he doing? What's he doing?
He's drinking from a trophy. Yes.
I don't want to go back into the house again to get a glass, and so and the wine fridge is out here. So I'm using the Veteran Gamers Donkey Kong Champion trophy.
Brilliant. I like it. And I also like that you'd refuse to drink just straight from the bottle. There's certain lines you can't.
Absolutely. You have to be classy here. The goblet that will make me last forever. I'm sorry, my secrets are being given away now. This is the goblet you want.
But so okay. So real quick, back on track with the trip.
Okay.
So I in talking with my wife, we devised a thought of I should get there ahead of time, and I should try and kind of stock the room.
Dwarves,
buy some beers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I ended up actually rescheduling my flight to get to Las Vegas early. But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, okay, if I'm trying to stock the room, one, I want to try and stock it with some fun stuff that you guys typically don't get to eat. And I've immediately thought of beef jerky because that was one of those funny things that I introduced Robin to that he hadn't really experienced before. So I thought everybody's going to try beef jerky. Then I was like, everybody's got to try Dot's pretzels. I know Robin's tried them, but everybody else hasn't. And then, of course, I had to bring corn nuts because it was this crazy snack that nobody else really remembered or thought of. So,
yes.
Nope. I've just got my wife is asking if I want anything, so I'm like, yeah, no. If it's not a margarita, I don't need it.
Fail.
But so I ended up. I started to think. I was like, well, you know what? I could buy in bulk on Amazon beef jerky, Dot's pretzels, and have them shipped to the hotel, and they'll hold it at the hotel, and then I'll just pick them up and I'll be good. Because we do that for trade shows all the time. Sure enough, did that. It all worked like a charm. I did not realize they were going to charge me a handling fee. It wasn't a lot of money, so there was that. So it was okay. But so that worked perfect. I had all of those snacks shipped ahead of time to the hotel. I got there. I immediately went to CVS pharmacy, which was in the hotel, thankfully, because I carried a case of beer, a 12-pack of ginger ale, and a big thing of water. Stepped to the room. I'm like walking through the casino with all this stuff under my arms. People kind of give me the sideways looks. And I'm like, and I forgot. I also had apple Jack Daniels, and I bought spiced rum. Get up to the room, stocked all the room with all of the stuff in the refrigerator. So both rooms had they were decked out with stuff for when the guys showed up. And then you guys showed up.
We did.
Pete and Mike and Lee showed up first. And then Robin wasn't showing up. So Robin, why don't you take over real quick? Yeah. What happened with your flights?
Yeah, it was not. I was about 6 hours behind. I think I got to Dallas and traveled to every aspect of the airport. Dallas Airport is massive and it has its own train tracks. And I went to arrive there and it said, go to Terminal 1. So I got on the track and it was about 15 minutes in this little tram. And I got off. I got a bite to eat. Looked up the board. Go to Terminal 18. Got to Terminal 18. As soon as I looked at the board, go to Terminal 3 on it. And then go to Terminal 5, the one that I got off the plane from Dublin on. So I was delayed and it was a bit kind of crazy. And then I arrived at the airport in Las Vegas and was asking this very young, pretty girl, is this where we get the Uber here? And do you want to share an Uber? At that point, I realized I was in Las Vegas and she was wearing fishnet stockings and a skirt that looked like shoelaces. And she was here on business for the night. And I went, okay. No, I'll get my own. So we got there. I think I woke up the first morning at ridiculous o'clock, about 5-ish.
Well, yeah, you showed up. I want to say at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. About 3, yeah.
So I came out and met you as you showed up, and then we went back into the room, kind of crashed out pretty much right away.
Yep, we had sex. You don't remember?
I don't. I think you gave me a roofie because I woke up to you giving me a coffee.
Yeah, so I was wandering through the streets of Vegas at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was lovely. It was not too warm. No, not too many people around the street. Some guy saying, "Fuck, shit, fuck, you're a fucking man. Give me some fucking cans for my trolley." Yeah, so there's a few of those guys around. So we got some Starbucks and to get up to the room, and there you were. And when the curtains came back, ladies and gentlemen, when the curtains came back in my room, it was the most glorious erection I have ever seen. Greg was closest to the window, and when that curtains came back, the only building you could see was this big gold erection with Trump at the top of it. We looked directly out on the Trump Tower, and I thought, oh my goodness. I just stood at that window for most of that day and drooled. It was wonderful. So
not to mention, you also took a picture of me with the Trump Tower.
Oh yeah, it was semi-pornographic.
Ironically positioned perfectly as my erect penis.
Yes. So we did plenty. What did we do in the first day? Because I don't remember stuff. I've got
so
mixed
first
memories.
Day was
we went for that lovely breakfast.
Oh yes,
yeah, went for a great breakfast
in Paris
at the
Mon Ami,
Paris,
Baba Mamma Mia,
right on the strip.
Famous one.
Had a great table with the view of the boulevard.
Bottle of champagne, fantastic
champagne, and this is where that was actually I think our first introduction to the alcohol side of things. We hadn't really drank anything yet; it was still early.
No.
But we kind of walked around a little bit in Vegas, got in plenty of steps, way more steps than I ever wanted, by the way. And we got back to the hotel right around 2-ish, and we got picked
cocktails at the pool.
Yes. We ventured over to the pool. We thought, let's go check the pool out. That lasted for like 5 minutes because it was about 100 degrees outside, and everybody was like, I could just do a margarita and look at the pool from the window. And that's more or less what we did.
Aircon won.
Yes. Air conditioning in Vegas is premium. It definitely works well. But this was our first day of activities, and we got picked up in a Humvee.
Oh, yes.
And we went to the shooting range.
50!
And so we get to this shooting range called Battlefield Vegas.
Oh, goodness.
And I did have to laugh a little bit because one of the packages was called Brass and Ass. And so I thought, and they said, we'll drive you to the strip club after. But the strip club literally was next to it. So I was just like, that's not much of a drive. Anyway, we get to the shooting range and everybody starts milling around because they basically say, take a look at what guns you want to shoot, and when you're ready, come up and let us know. We finally kind of all figured out what we wanted to shoot, and we all had different packages. I don't know what you guys ended up shooting. Pete, what did you end up going with?
I had a SWAT package which contained a Glock. There was a shotgun in there. I can't remember the name of the shotgun. An MP5. And 2 Remingtons. One was a semi-automatic. The other was like a sniper rifle. I went all out as well. I ended up firing the Big 50, the Barrett.
Yep.
And that was $35 a bullet.
Yes.
$35 a bullet. And there was the is it the M239 or the 249?
249, the saw.
249, yeah. So it was a machine gun fired 20 rounds faster than I could blink. Man, it was frightening. Yeah, it was great. I think the Barrett did it for me. Oh my god! But anyway, we'll find out what everybody else fired first before we talk about the 50.
Yes, Robin, what did you select on your gun types?
Oh, I did the same as Pete. I had the SWAT. So a little gun, a shotgun, a something else gun, and a sniper gun. I'm not good with guns. And then a big gun. Robin. A big.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Oh shit!
So I went with.
Hey, Jason. God.
I think it was the Call of Duty package. I don't remember the specific name to it, but it was the M4, AK-47, a GC36, and then a oh god, I'm totally skipping Scar. So shot those 4, and then I did shoot the SAW 249 as well, and then I did 3 rounds on the Barrett rifle. I think let's start with the Barrett rifle, because this was a highlight thing. We get into the gun range aspect. So they have like multiple doors. So they give you your ears and your eye protection, and then once everybody has all of that on, then you walk through this door, and they wait for everybody to get in. They close the outside door, and then you go to the inner door into the gun range. And we could hear guns going off here and there. And we get into the gun range, and I don't think any of us were particularly paying attention, where our backs were turned to the actual firing range. We were listening to our instructor guy telling us what was going to happen and how he was going to, work with us. And then we just hear this boom, and all of us, to a person, like jump. I think I peed a little. And that was the Barrett 50 going off.
I don't think I ever said Fox so many times.
Jason
in a room. I just publicly. Yeah, it was scary, man. It was
so fast forward to when we were firing the Barrett. We have videos of this, and we'll maybe we can share it up online.
I am sharing slides and photographs right now.
Okay, so this guy, I forgot what his name was. The main instructor, was it
Tommy?
Pete also?
No, Stanley.
Stanley.
It's
on
yes.
his arm.
Stanley he reminded you of a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Like an old school World War II drill sergeant, and he gets you ready on the 50. But you can't shoot until he tells you to shoot. And then he just calls out, 50 going live. And he's screaming this at the top of his lungs. And then he says, fire when ready. And once he says fire when ready, you can shoot. And so when you shoot the Barrett, it's amazing. If you're standing behind that gun, you actually feel more of a concussion from the gun firing than you do when you shoot it. It is a crazy loud, violent weapon. The bullets, I mean, if you hold your hand up, the bullet is about the length of from palm to the tip of your finger. And I have never been so in awe, and also just, I mean, I cannot imagine trying to shoot that gun on its own, because they mount it to a tripod for stability. Because you just, as a novice, you can't shoot that gun without it being that way.
Frig me no. It was the scariest gun that I've ever been. Yeah. Well, there was a thing going very quickly. One of those going somewhere. But this 50 was terrifying. Just it was like a car passing you, and you were at the edge of the road, and it passed you at 180 miles per hour, and the wind went woof behind you. That's the best way to describe it. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that was the thing about it. It was the air pressure, not just the sound. It was the air pressure, and everything just. It was like a sonic boom, wasn't it? In your body, and you felt it from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. It was just so. It was just so immense. And
in fact, my first shot on the Barrett, my mouth was slightly open, and it like knocked my teeth together. And I was like, "Fuck was that? Not doing that again."
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's talk about Robin real quickly.
Oh, Fred. I don't have photographs of me with that. There's lots of photographs going up here. And there's a photograph will come eventually of my target. My target page. It wasn't the normal target. I had Little Rocket Man from North Korea, Kim Jong-un, who I was shooting at, which was fun. And unfortunately, my instructor was probably a South Korean guy, and he says, "You're shooting my uncle." It's awkward.
The most awkward thing was watching Robin first when he first was trying to shoot
with the big guns.
With the big guns, yeah. Once he went to something with a scope, we're watching Robin as you're holding it, but we're noticing his head's like this.
Yeah.
And then we hear the instructor, "Use your right eye. Use your right eye."
Couldn't do it.
Why can't you use your right? What are you left-handed? Are you? And so they make Robin shoot left-handed, and he does the same thing. He goes to his right eye, and the instructor's like, "I've never seen anything like this."
Yeah.
And finally, they put a piece of paper over his eye, so to force him to use the correct eye, looking down scope.
It was
It was
embarrassing.
one of the funniest moments. We've got a picture of Robin turning around
It was
with a piece of
embarrassing.
paper stuck in his glasses.
It was embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
It was great. It was a funny moment, but we had a blast shooting. And then from there, we go back to the hotel. We started gambling. We
can I
started drinking.
mention my T-shirt first? Look, I got a T-shirt
absolutely.
as well. Yeah, I got a T-shirt that I bought for $10, and I put it on the range. And
Hold it closer to the camera, Pete, because you're just like Invisible Man right now.
How's that?
All we can see is Lara Croft's
Oh dear God!
protuberances.
Exactly.
Oh dear, it's not working, is it? But
No,
I've got
it
a
is not.
T-shirt that's absolutely like.
There it is.
There
There
you
it is.
go.
You shot your T-shirt.
How's that?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
it's
shot his
so-
T-shirt.
T-shirt just absolutely blown to bits, and it was really cool. Actually, it was a good idea for $10. I thought that was a real cool idea. The shotgun just blown it apart into smithereens, but yeah, I enjoyed doing that.
Oh. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was. I've been to shooting ranges before, but this was something very, very special. It was the range of weapons that you could shoot. The atmosphere was good. It was actually probably a bit dangerous. There was so many people in that back area.
Yeah,
I'm shooting those big guns. Was class. It was really, really cool.
It was definitely a once in a lifetime kind of experience. And then outside they had a ton of tanks and old old army vehicles, I should say, that they use as part of kind of like an outdoor museum. So that was really cool. And so we got lots of pictures with that, and it was a really great experience.
Fun.
Then we went back to the hotel. We started drinking more. We went to
That's
a
very
rooftop dinner at Doghouse Brewery,
Beautiful view.
and
With
yeah,
a very-
beautiful view of the
one
strip.
very annoying
It was
lady.
great. Met an annoying American. It was a lot of fun.
Oh God, yeah, she was something else, wasn't she?
Then we came back to the hotel. And was this the night we drank?
No.
This is the night we.
No,
that was the
Saturday
next-
night. Yeah.
No, hold on.
So-
Hold on. Let's talk about us partying like animals in Brewdog. We're such party animals in our 50s, yeah? We played shuffleboard. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a bar game that you like bowls with little shuffly things. We were party animals. We were there doing shuffleboard in Las Vegas. We were
I really enjoyed that. I've never played that before. I thought that was really cool.
Oh.
I've
It was
never
a
seen
fun
that in
moment.
this
I mean,
yeah, it
country.
was good.
It was low key. It was our first night. We were going back to gamble. I mean, that was really the end goal.
Oh yeah.
And we did. We gambled till about 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
That night, did we?
Yeah.
Wow.
Every night we
Right.
stayed out to at least 4 o'clock in the morning ish.
Really?
And then we were waking up at 8:30 every day, which
Yeah.
was the crazy part. We were bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. It wasn't like we were dogging. So that was the first night, more or less. Next day was race day, and so we get a cab, and we set off for the Vegas Strip. The Vegas Speedway or Speed Vegas, and I had set up kart racing for us. And it was kind of the low key entry level thing we could do there. But in the back of my head, I kind of knew once we got there, these guys were going to see what else they could do.
Bastard.
And they might be inclined to want to do something, because originally everybody's like, I'm fine with kart racing. We don't need to do anything else. Well, we get there, and not only do they have kart racing, an outdoor kart racing track, which was fun. We had a great time doing that. But they also had just over a mile long racetrack where you could go out on high end supercars.
I have the photograph up now. So we walk into
Yep.
this place and there's 4 or 5 or 6 big plasma screens up with the list of all of the cars that you could drive. Okay? And it's pretty much every supercar on earth right now that you could take out. Maseratis, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Audis, McLarens,
Aston
Porsches, you name it. They were Mercedes AMGs, a Ford Shelby, you name it, they were there. And they had me at hello.
Robin walks through the door, and suddenly I hear this. Oh no! And I knew right then and there that he was hooked. Now, not only did they have the racetrack, though, they also had an off-road track where you could take out a Ford Rally truck and race around a dirt track that had 3 different jumps in it. And so that was going to be my choice. I was like, you know what? That's an experience I'll never get a chance to do. Jumping any kind of vehicle, unless I'm in a car wreck, I'm probably not doing it. So I thought, I'm going to do that. Robin, you did that. Pete, you elected not to do this. In the meantime, Robin also signed up to also race a 911 RS3.
GT3 RS. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we went out to the dirt track. We did the dirt racing. It was awesome. And what's cool is you have this instructor with you, and the instructor the entire time is just, basically, gas brake. He's your coach, your line coach as you're driving around the track. And you're going through these jumps, and the sensation of leaving the ground and jumping through the air in a truck is an odd one, but also just really fun.
It's funny when I've got the video up now, but it's funny. I've got now changing the screens on my computer, on my background screen, and you don't actually realize until you see that photograph how high we actually were off the ground. I mean, right. It's like 3 feet up in the air. It's kind of nutty.
Yeah. You are getting some actual air. It's not just a little bunny hop. And so we do that. Then we go back to kind of the base area. They have a two-story building where you can go and kind of observe and get refreshments and also instruction. And while Robin is going in to get his instruction, we all decide we're going to take a couple laps each in a Dodge Charger Hellcat, which they take out onto the track and drift around the track in. And so you're a passenger on this. You don't drive at all, but it is insane. This guy, the driver that took us out, was the world champion in drifting. He just won the world championship. The instructor that was giving Robin instruction in the room for racing the supercars was actually number 2 in the world. So they've got 2 top tier guys for drifting that go out on the track all the time with us. And so we get out there and we start drifting the track. And I just cracked up because you start off in the parking lot and it's all the cars are parked all around there, and you think he'd kind of go out quietly and get out to the track and then take off.
That video.
No, this guy's like a bat out of hell. As soon as we get around the corner, he's just on it. And so we all took a turn on the drifting. Pete, what was your thought? This was your first experience in a vehicle outside of the cars. So I would love for you to tell us what you thought.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with the exit out of the car park. I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought it was going to be a lot slower and then gradually building up to thrashing right out and drifting on the track. But it was almost like we'd run out of the center with $1 million, and he was our getaway driver. He did not give a shit, and he threw this car around like cool as a cucumber. He did not care, and I was just expecting. I was expecting just it. Well, I was expecting not to be as terrifying as it was. This guy was so close to all of the posts, all the way around the tracks, and all of the parts of the track what you're really not supposed to hit. And I think he does that just to give it a little bit more of a scare factor. He was just throwing the car, skidding it around right up the sides, right up against every post around the track. And he did his job. He just scared the shit out of us.
Pete, when you were going around the track, did you know when he was drifting and there was a car in the pocket on your hip? Did you know that was happening?
I did kind of see it, but he drifted around it so fast I didn't see how close that car was. Now Mike was in the back and he got to see that more as it started to head towards us. But the cars that drive around the track, if they get driven by a professional driver, they tend to screw around with each other and get in each other's way. And I think they just show about their skills, and it just shows you how good they are. You know, this guy was trying to edge into our drifting car, and this drifter just, you know, skidded around it with ease.
Yeah, it was great. Brilliant.
Even with the Porsche 4x4 going into him, he still managed to get round it. And it seemed like he was really close at one point, and everything else was really close though, wasn't it? All of the posts that you near missed. It was a frightening drive, and it's a lot more frightening on the front than it is in the back, because I found that Mike was just laughing loads in the back, and I was thinking, hang on a sec, like I'm as a driver as well. I was finding my feet pressed right into the footwell, and they were on the brake and clutch. Like, oh my god, like I'm absolutely terrified and need to stop. And I felt like I was pushing my feet just right into the engine because I was that terrified of it. And Mike wasn't doing anything. And then when we swapped places, I realised then that it's not so intense and it's not so scary at the back, and you kind of, it's a little bit more like a simulation, and you're playing a game and you're not being anywhere near all of the action. It just felt like at the front it was just, it was a bloody scary experience. I don't know whether you felt the same, Greg, but yeah, for me it did.
Yeah, it was very unnerving how casual the driver was throwing you into these drift turns. Because I mean, at one point, when I was in the back, apparently as he was going around one of the corners, he was like looking at his watch. I mean, and just like one hand on the wheel, but he was throwing this car. It was incredible. Now, that was our drifting experience. Now, Robin, you got to live your dream.
Oh, what a day! Oh,
and
yeah. So my instructor
Porsche.
told me that when we were going through the sort of the classroom bit, when he said brake hard, brake harder, we're going to die. That would be the instruction that I was getting. So I was doing this this Porsche GT3, which is the car that I've been racing in my sim. And up that straight, I was just a smidgen off 200 kilometers per hour, and that straight wasn't very long. The acceleration, the way that thing stuck to the ground. My little instructor was a wee bit too chatty, but it was a fab experience, and absolutely loved it, and I had a good time in the day. And I spent a fortune that day, a fortune of money that day, but I don't regret 1 cent of it. So, and even
you came close to $1,000, didn't you?
I did over $1,000, Greg. Quite a bit over $1,000. How much was the karting?
$100. It's like $100,
100, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100 for 3 laps.
Yeah.
And just to confirm as well, because Martin's put a question in the chat about Robin's race times, he did actually win the karting race.
Yes, he did.
His timing's improved on every single lap, just like everybody else. I must admit, I was driving Miss Daisy and last every single time, but we all improved on our times. But Robin was just like, he was just a true.
His sim racing. That background definitely came forward.
Now your time on the off-road trucks was pretty good, Greg. I was looking at the videos. You were a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds off my time on it as well. So I'm
I'll take that.
I'm just motorhead, petrolhead. So
yes, definitely motorhead.
I was really, really cool. Just loved it. Loved the whole day. It was fabulous. Yeah. I mean, we
literally spent the entire. We did not intend to spend the entire day here, but we spent it. I think we left close to 6 o'clock.
We were dirty, filthy, sweaty, and smiley. It was very, very good.
Smiling the entire time.
So we're waiting on Mike. He has the video footage from the karts. He had this 360 camera. And because there'll be some exciting karting stuff, because that was good fun. We'll maybe get that before the next Las Vegas trip. So and hopefully we'll get to share that with you. That was a fabulous day. Fabulous day. That was good fun.
And it wasn't over yet.
Yeah,
because then we got back to the room.
Yeah.
And Robin.
So I sort of went, yeah, guys, I'm going to treat you tonight. I'm going to take you to a show, and we're going to go to the Blue Man Group.
Yes.
And we went to
the
Blue Man Group. I thought, yeah, I'm going to book some tickets. What the hell? In for a penny, in for a pound. And at that stage, it was lots of pounds. So we went to the Luxor Hotel, which is the big black pyramid. And as we walked, the odd thing, I'm sorry, everybody, we're talking Las Vegas tonight. Loose video games. I'm sorry.
We'll get to video game stuff. We promise. There's plenty to talk about.
We went to the Luxor, and that weekend in the main the speedway, where they do the NASCAR racing outside Las Vegas, was a EDM festival. It was a festival, the music, electronic dance music, and everywhere around the town were scantily clad young nubile girls and boys. That's all I can probably say. Most of them just about legal age, wearing next to nothing. Absolutely, it was just ridiculous what these girls and guys weren't wearing. But we went into the Luxor Hotel. I'm putting the video up here. It'll get there eventually. Could start eventually. The YouTube's running way behind. There was a trade show for the clothing for EDM. And I thought, let's go in here.
Why not? We have to go check out what they're selling.
So we went into there, and that was a weird, surreal experience, and got some photographs taken together in a lovely big love heart. They'll eventually come up. We were looking lovely together, and that was getting okay on. But then we went to see
the dance moves.
We went to see the Blue Man Group. If you've never seen the Blue Man Group, look them up. It's very hard to describe, Pete. And because it's
bald blue dudes
playing music
and
making fun and having some comedy. They don't talk at all. There's no speech in it whatsoever, and it's just an hour and a half or 2 hours of just mostly good laughs and cerebral weird stuff to get you thinking. And I think
excellent fun.
Excellent fun. And they ended up getting toilet roll dumped all over the head of you. So lots of toilet roll.
That was fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, that was a really good fun night. A nice wee surprise. And I think after that we gambled a bit and went back to the hotel.
Yeah.
We get back to the hotel and we decide we're just gonna drink.
That was the night. Oh no! I've got the number. You've got the number. Taxi guy on the way to the Luxor. Our taxi guy.
Yes.
Talk about our taxi guy, Greg.
Oh
God.
Yeah.
So we take this taxi, and as we're driving to the Luxor, we're talking the entire time. We've been talking about, should we go to a strip club? Should we go to a strip club? Newsflash: we never made it to a strip club, but I'm in the front seat of the cab. Everybody else is behind, and we're driving along. And this taxi cab driver, he's like, "Well, hey, if you guys want to go to a strip club, I know all the good strip clubs. I'll tell you where to go, where not to go." And he starts talking about the better strip clubs to go to, and he can get us in for free if we go to this one or this one. And the funny part was, at first he talks about a strip club called Hassler, and I'm like, Hassler? Well, I've never heard of this one. Well,
Hasslers.
Yeah, Hasslers. Well, it was Hustlers, but the way he was pronouncing it, I heard Hasslers. And so then he proceeds to say, well, if you guys want to go for massages, I know a great place to go for massages. You get the happy ending. So I know places you line up, the girls line up, you pick the girl you want. And we're like, okay. And then he's like, well, and if you want people to come back to your room, I know some people. So I'm like looking at the cab driver, and I'm getting this info dump. This guy's just selling me on everything. And then he proceeds to start touching his nose. He's like, and if you guys want anything extra, I know a guy. And I'm like, okay, at this point, we really can line up hookers and blow, because apparently this cab driver knows everybody.
But not only that.
And then the best part was, after all of that, he's like, and if you want, and if you guys want to go do an excursion, like to the Hoover Dam or something, I have an Escalade as my other vehicle that I ran out on the weekends. And we're just laughing. This guy literally, like, he was selling himself hard. Like, he could do everything for us. But needless to say, we did not take him up on his offer. We ended up just going back to the hotel. This was the night we drank.
Was it? But how can you trust a guy that doesn't even know his own name?
Well, this is true. I think he gave us his name, but we just put him in as unknown.
Joshua in English. I got that bit.
Yeah. It was Josewa, something like that. Hosea.
He couldn't even say his own name.
But
I'm going to trust that guy.
we get back to the casino, and we sit down in the bar area. And Pete, you said, "Hey, Greg, what was that drink you were talking about?"
No, it wasn't that at all.
Yeah.
What we was doing, we was sitting around, right, and we was drinking beers, and I kind of got a bit bored of drinking the same beer, and I was also talking to Marsh about Greg, and his great ability just to conjure up some cocktail, and how he describes all of his ingredients, and how he puts it all together, and all the flavors. He's great at selling these cocktails. So I says, "Do you know what, Greg? Let's just do this right now. Sell us a cocktail. So we need something." I says, "I fancy something fruity, something refreshing." So Greg was like, I know
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. So he was.
The problem was, I didn't take this as just a challenge to give him something fruity to drink. I took this as just a challenge to come up with different shots. Dude. So I introduced the boys to the Purple Hooter.
What foamy thing? Foamy stuff.
The funniest part is as each one of these guys drank it, Pete was like, "That was quite nice," and nice. Lee was like, "Oh, I like that," and Robin was like, "That was disgusting." So
that's his whiskey palate. That's his whiskey palate.
Oh, yeah.
So then from there, I took them. So like a Purple Hooter is like a 3 on the Richter scale, right? Or the drink scale. I took them probably closer to like an 8-9. So I took them to a snowshoe. Now, if you're not familiar with the snowshoe, it's supposed to have been chilled, by the way. I did miss this, but it's Rumple Mints, which is 100 proof peppermint schnapps, and wild turkey, and you chill it and then you shoot it. I personally love snowshoes because you walk away from it with minty fresh breath. And it's a hard shot though, and none of these guys like this shot.
I don't know if it would make a difference. It still tasted like shit, I reckon. It was horrendous.
Not that I didn't like it. It was just a bit of a shock. It was like a Pan-Galactic gargle blaster. It was like getting your brain smashed out with a gold brick with a slice of lemon wrapped around it. It really was pretty rough.
It just reminded me of mouthwash.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's fair. Yeah.
And there was more after that, and more drinks, and I think we were all pretty merry at that stage.
I got them to the brain hemorrhage, which a brain hemorrhage. It's peach schnapps with Bailey's on top of it, and then you take a little bit of grenadine, you drop it through the middle.
That's right.
And it pulls the peach schnapps down, pulls the Bailey's down, which curdles in the peach schnapps and looks like a brain stem. The key is you have to drink it quickly. Not like what Robin did, which he sat there looking at it for a while, because then it starts to curdle.
It was giving me the eye, Greg. It was eyeing me up.
It gets a little chewy.
I think we had a couple more, and then it got to the point where we were being silly. We noticed a girl in the blackjack table across from us, who was the dealer, and she looked very lonely. She was all by herself. And drunkenly, we all went up to speak to her and got shooed away, but we were all drunk at that stage. And then you guys gambled a bit, and then I went to my favorite spot, my ATM.
Yes. We might as well introduce everybody to was it Crazy Rich Asians? I think that was the official name of it.
Yeah.
Our ATM. I did all right.
Yes.
ATM.
So Robin and Pete, you ended up winning money as well, correct?
Yeah.
You came out ahead?
I won over, I reckon over, I'd say close to 500 or over 500. Yeah, I did all right.
So these two guys hit this one slot machine repeatedly, and it paid off for them every time. I went to the neighboring slot machine. It did not pay off for me. I think I lost $50 on it. I lost way more money at the blackjack tables. But we genuinely had a blast. And this machine, though, it was paying off for Robin and Pete like there was no tomorrow. Robin nicknamed it his personal ATM.
Ding, 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 ding. I love those Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah. At the stage, that was 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was snottered. Yeah. Yeah, I think I went to Vegas with $200 cash, and I think I had taken receipts for over $900 cash and came home with $700. So that was it was a fun machine. I've actually looked it up on YouTube. It is a very popular machine as far as winningness is concerned. And it was fun. We had fun with it, didn't we?
We did have fun.
Yeah. Fun. You guys didn't win with it.
Well, I didn't play it until the very last night.
You were desperate.
Yeah, exactly. That was shit. So we
really
drank a
funny, though,
lot
because
that night.
You guys are going up to the machine and playing it, sticking your $20 in, thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get 100 out of this," and it wasn't happening. And then me and Robin sat down.
I had to be in the vicinity to have any sort of winnings, and you had to believe in the Asians. And if you didn't believe in the Asians, it didn't pay out. And you were just using it as a money vehicle. We were using it because we had respect for the Asians. We loved it.
Spiritual connection,
and that's what it was. And I think the next night after the hockey, you went and gambled, and I went to meet Asians. And my problem was that particular night, I think I took $540 out of it in one night. But I had set myself a limit, so I won like 50 or 60, and I said, okay, if it goes below 50, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. And I kept on going, and I went over 100. Okay, if it goes below 100, I'm walking away. And I kept on going like this and over, and I got to $580. There was a guy sitting across from me who was Big Gay Al from England, and he, that's good. Let me show you how it goes. It's good this way. No, and he kept coming over to my machine and grabbing me, and oh dear. Anyway, but even that was part of it all. At 5:15 in the morning, I eventually walked away. 5:15. I couldn't believe it, man. If it had been kept on going, I would have been sitting there right now.
Probably.
Yeah, it was nutty. That was good. That was good fun. Yeah. Good fun. But then, but we did our ice hockey.
Sunday, Sunday we Lee Marsh, as some of you may know him, ended up kind of turning we talked about going to a sporting event. We talked about possibly going to an NHL game. We found out they were going to be there for the weekend for the playoffs. And I was like, it's going to be expensive. And the guys at first were like, no. And then suddenly everybody was like, yeah, let's do it. And so Lee bought tickets for Sunday's game, which was 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Las Vegas Knights versus the Dallas Stars. We go to the Knights Arena. What a fantastic sporting venue. Just class venue, and just had a great game. They tied the game with less than, I think, 2 minutes in the game and go to overtime and win it in overtime. And we raided the Las Vegas Knights store. Everybody bought some merch from the store. Pete, you bought a jersey, I think.
We did have fabulous seats. Let's talk about the seats. The seats were brilliant.
The seats were awesome. So we were upper deck, which normally you think you're in the nosebleeds. You're not going to get a good view of the ice. But the way that arena is built, the upper deck, it's very angled, and you have just this tremendous view of the arena. And so I'm a little concerned Robin is frozen on my screen.
Yeah, I see that now. Yeah, well, what the hell?
Okay, just making sure you were still there.
I'm sorry, the camera's died. Anyway, what got me was the height. I was terrified. I had vertigo for at least the first 15 minutes because it was so many, like 2 mega. I've never been in a stadium so big in my life. And you guys, no problem. This is a normal thing. So the height and for a while. And then the thing that really, really got me, and I think Pete as well, was the national anthem and how wonderful that occasion was. And it actually brought a tear to my eye. And I think Pete as well. It was
sure did.
It was fab. It was good old America. That was really, really good. That was special.
You
very
couldn't
special.
get that anywhere else, could
special.
you? In this, imagine that on every football game in this country. It just wouldn't happen. Yeah. And you would, I don't know, man. That performance was just outstanding, and it was really heartfelt. It was great.
Yeah, loved that. It was a good night. Good night.
And then we finished it up. We ended up bagging our dinner reservations, which was with the right call. We had eaten and had our fill at the hockey game. Got back to the hotel. I think we rested maybe for a little bit, but really it was more gambling. Yeah. And then we got ready and we went to Topgolf. And so we rented a bay at Topgolf. If you've never been to Topgolf, it is a 4-deck like driving range, but out in the driving range, they have these giant targets, and they range in sizes and distance from the driving range bays. And all of the golf balls have RFI chips in them, so they're tracked. So when you hit a golf ball out into the range, it tracks where your ball goes. And so you could play basically darts with golf. That's the best way to describe it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, they provide all of the golf clubs. They have both right-handed and left-handed golf clubs, which was nice for Pete. And they have a full bar. They've got actually really great food. If you ever go there, by all means, eat. It's good stuff.
It's amazing.
And so we just had this like full-on dinner and golf all wrapped up into one, and we just sat and played games for a couple hours, and that was kind of the last big hurrah for the Vegas trip.
Yeah, that was about it.
And then it was sad times, and then we had to think about packing up and coming home.
There's my voucher, $548.90. That was a lovely cash out. Ding, ding.
But not only that though, not only was it a great closing night, Greg and his wonderful wife put some money towards.
They did.
Pretty much our night. We had some great food.
Thank you
we
very
had,
much.
Quite a few drinks, and we took them back to the hotel because we had too many to even consume in the time that we had, which is I think your generosity right from the start in filling our fridge with booze and water and all of the snacks to that closing night was just
No, we wanted to make sure this was a once in a lifetime trip you guys would never forget. So
no, do you know what? It was one of those. I know I'm sorry we've went on about this for so long, but it was one of those trips where we planned it. Greg put a lot of time and effort into planning all the bits and pieces, and then we added extra stuff in, like the Blue Man Group and the ice hockey. But every aspect of it, I don't think there was a minute that any of us were pissed off or fed up, or maybe Mike losing a lot of money at roulette. But
he looked like a broken man.
It was just fun for the 4 days. It was just pure and utter fun. Every aspect of it, and if we ever do this again, I would thoroughly recommend anybody come along. So because it was just a ball. We just had a fabulous time. So thank you, everybody.
And I would recommend the taxi driver Josue. He will hook you up.
Yeah, and then Mike on Wednesday morning, you'll eventually see the photograph pop up. Mike on Wednesday morning had a photo shoot to do, and he had to go and photo shoot a plastic woman's vagina. So
oh boy.
Yes, and then he dressed up in a doctor's uniform, and he'll be doing that at part-time now. And so watch out for him. Anyway, fabulous trip. Thank you. Sorry, Kim. Thank you very much for sitting there so much and just listening to all that. But it was just awesome.
No worries.
It was awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Sounds like it.
All right. We do have video games to talk about.
Do we?
Let's talk video games.
Shall we play a game?
I want to play a game.
You are one pathetic loser. All right. So we're only an hour into the podcast, and we have yet to talk about video games, but we're going to talk about video games. Kim?
Uh-huh.
Do we know what's coming out in June? We don't yet. Okay.
No, we do not.
We're going to skip that, but we're going to talk about what we've been playing. I feel like, Kim, you are likely the person that's played the most video games out of all of us for the past couple weeks. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. What have you been playing?
Alrighty. Well, this weekend was double XP for COD. So me and Anthony, maybe Boomer was there once or twice. I'm sure he was, and I swear
he's always lurking.
Right. So we played some multiplayer in COD. I leveled up to 58 or 59 at this point. So there's that. I'm trying to finish Book of Demons and some other stuff before Diablo arrives. So I played some more of that. I think I've just about got it finished. I'm like a level 22 or something in that. And last but not least, I've advanced further in Vampire Survivors.
Ooh, I played this.
Yes. Yeah, I finally got to some more maps than just what they call the first one, whatever, Mad Forest or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, I'm now on I'm past the one, the dairy plant. I'm on that one, whichever one's past the dairy plant. I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. But I made that last night, and I actually got up to like level 62.
Wow.
So, Yeah, so I'm finally figuring it out, and like I said, finally getting on some new maps, not just the same old, same old. So yeah, it's getting nice. Unlocking a bunch of the bonus unlocks this sort of stuff, and yeah, it's unlike Mark, who's poo-pooing Vampire Survivors. He's like, I don't understand the appeal, and I shot back, yeah, well, I don't understand the appeal of Mass Effect either. So we're in the same boat.
Fair play. Has he tried Vampire Survivors?
Yeah, he did say he tried it for like all of, I don't know, probably 15 minutes, and he come back on WhatsApp and's like, well, I don't get it.
Oh, that's not fair. That's not right. He's got to try it for about 2 or 3 hours, isn't he?
Right, at least put some time into it.
See, I think this might be a fallacy. I think he's just saying he tried it. He probably just got to the loading screen, looked at the graphics, and said, "Not for me."
Right.
Now, Robin, you said you also played this.
I played it on the plane on the way there. That was the only time I touched my Steam Deck in the whole trip. Because I slept most of the way home. And it was catnip. It was catnip. I get it. I understand it. It's like, right. I mean, if you're good with your left thumb, you can play this game because that's all you need. If the only limb you had was a penis, you could play this game.
Oh, Robbie. But what if you're not good with
it? Yeah, size doesn't matter.
No, it's just been good with it, not size.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a weird little thing. You're going around and you're powering up your man as you go, and you're trying to run away from things. Run away just all the time. You're trying to run away and find the gap in between the baddies to pick up more little things and it's like Crazy Rich Asians. It was constantly feeding you upgrades. The level progression was short, and you could always upgrade some things. So it was cha-ching, 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 cha-ching every time. It was, yeah.
It was kind of the perfect segue for Vegas.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it was good.
Anything else, Kim?
No, that was it for me.
Okay.
So.
Pete, did you get any video gaming in?
Apart from Fall Guys, I had my son yesterday, and we played Fall Guys. There's a new season out, season 3, so there's new courses to navigate. It's just the same as it was before. It's just very cartoony, very action packed. Just one of those.
Fun.
It is. It's good fun.
Okay.
They've got new skins out now. A He-Man one, which I was really surprised to see. He-Man, so you got Battle Cat, He-Man, Skeletor, Orko, and who's the other person? Is it Battle Ram? I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, to see that, I was like, oh no way, they're introducing He-Man, because you don't see that ananymore, really.
No.
He-Man. So anyway, Fall Guy. That's all I've had to go on.
Okay, all right. Now, Robin, I
was very, very rusty. I was very rusty this week, and I played my race was at Brands Hatch this week, and I didn't expect an awful lot. I streamed it and done 2 races, qualified on pole in my first race, which was astounding. People thought that I was bluffing about being rusty, but I definitely was, and finished second there. One interesting thing, I have added this heart rate monitor to monitor. It takes off my watch. And my heart rate monitor is hitting 150 beats per minute.
Shit.
When you're
playing that game?
When I'm racing at a high pressure moment. Yeah. But okay. So that's a workout. And in my second race, I qualified 10th. It was very exciting, and finished 5th. And I'm over the moon this week for that. Straight after the podcast, in fact, at 10:45, I'm doing a 45-minute race with the community guys. We're going to do that little private closed server one to practice, and it's a holiday here as well tomorrow, so we're going to do an official bongo racing one. So that should be good. That should be good fun tomorrow as well.
Let me ask you a question, Robin.
Yeah.
And now, having actually been in the Porsche,
yes.
Do you feel like that is actually helping now the sim side of it as well? Or is it just different still?
An extra respect for how close it actually is. So my instructor was saying on the way out, do you do any sim racing? Or, first of all, I was asking how I was going to brake. And I was just saying, well, I'm going to use my left foot to brake. Left foot braking, which is a very racing thing. If you've ever hit your left foot to brake in a car and you're not used to it, it usually puts you through the screen. But it's a much more efficient way in a racing car to brake. And I said, well, do you do any racing or sim racing? I said, yeah, sim. And he asked what sim it was. And at the end of it, he said, well, what do you think it's very close to the sim, isn't it? And absolutely, apart from the actual physical G-forces,
right,
it's at about 70%, which is pretty darn good from sitting at a screen with force feedback from there. So it's amazing how close it actually is. So it gives you a bit of more respect for that. So
Is this the next purchase then, Robin? Are you going to get a G-force like fan that just blows you back off your seat? And
Pete, that's not where my mind was going when you said that. I thought you meant the next purchase is a Porsche GT3.
Sure. Why not? Let's go big or go home.
Look,
it probably cost you just as much to get something that give you the same G-force.
There was 20 odd cars you could drive at that place, and they had an average price of $200,000. So no, no. I would say that a set of brakes for one of those cars and a set of tires would probably cost the price of an average car. So that's why it was an expensive day. But no, it's good. I found myself very, very sore wristed the other night.
It was not from the racing, right?
I done two. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was funny. I said on the stream, I felt like a 13-year-old boy at 11:30 on a Saturday morning. My right wrist was frigging killing me. Because again, it's only a week, but the force feedback really, really got me. And when I was driving almost every day, when you're away from it for a week, that hurt. But anyway,
okay,
we carry on. By the way, one thing, thank you very much, Greg. I had ordered a piece from Etsy
yes.
a few months ago. Got it sent to Greg's house. It was a 3D printed thing to hold a Steam. What's it called? Steam.
The Steam Deck.
Stream Deck. And this thing clips into it and it screws onto the side of my wheel base, and it's brilliant. It keeps it all nice and steady, and it's actually a very, very nice little thing. So thanks for doing that for me, Greg. So yeah, cool.
Yeah,
we race on.
I'm happy to be your mule.
Thank you.
Okay. For me, Halo multiplayer had a good fun session on Wednesday. But then this is kind of one of those things where I saw this game, and I actually saw it on Twitter. They were talking about how it released onto PC and consoles. It was called Miasma Chronicles. I had seen this before in some clips, but I hadn't really paid attention to what the game was. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm going to buy it and go for it. The reviews coming in were pretty good. It is a turn-based tactics, surprise, surprise game. You play the role of this character who is trying to discover basically how to break through this wall of this, I'll call it a natural force, but it's really more like an alien force called miasma that has taken over the world and basically contaminating the world, if you will. And it's like a living force. And so you have this glove that has the ability to harness the power of miasma, and your goal, if you will, is you're trying to find your mother to find out kind of the history of the glove, kind of what's going on, and how she was able to get to the other side of this wall that's being blocked off by the miasma. And why they came with the word miasma, I don't know. It's very difficult for me to say. I struggle with it. Exactly. But it reminds me a lot of what's it, Ground Zero, the turn-based tactics game with the frog and the duck. No, the duck, the pig. I don't know. It's from a little ways back.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of that. You get companions that will go with you. Graphically, though, this game is gorgeous. It is. I want to say it's an Unreal 5 game. I know it's an Unreal game for sure, but I just don't know if it's Unreal 4 or Unreal 5. But it looks visually really great. They also have great cutscenes within it. It has a little bit of that kind of Ascent vibe to it. If you played the game Ascent or Cyberpunk, where it has that kind of that futuristic sci-fi vibe to it. At one point, you're talking to a mayor, and he's just basically like a floating head in like I want to call it a water chamber, if you will, and he's got like robotic arms, you know. So again, future tech is basically furnishing everything. And the other interesting aspect to this, and I don't know why I find this interesting, but it's set in America and they talk about America and making it great again, which I kind of laughed a little bit about because it feels like they were stealing some of the juju from the current state of America. But I've thoroughly been enjoying this game. If you are into turn-based tactics games, I think will enjoy this game. And so, it uses the whole cover system similar to Gears Tactics, Pete. So, there's that. But it also is, it has this story. There's a little bit of an open world to it, and there's some exploration, and you're going off and kind of in different directions, trying to take on different tasks. I haven't quite got a sense of how big the game is. It feels pretty big. So I'm thinking it's going to be 25 to 30 hours, all said and done, for completion. And yeah, Miasma Chronicles. It was a surprise. I'm very much enjoying it. Highly recommend so far.
Yeah, cool.
Robin, Frozen in Time. Yes. Okay, let's jump to the news, Robin.
Here is the fucking news.
Robin.
Okay, there was a PlayStation showcase, and we were doing a little recap of it, and we'll go straight to the thing that's just worth talking about. Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake announced with the worst trailer imaginable. Yeah, but it looked kind of cool. I like Snake Eater. It looked fun.
So
that was it.
I mean,
the end.
Let's walk through real quickly, just all the names of the games.
Okay,
that's what I want you to do.
Fair Games is a new payday-like shooter from Assassin's Creed. Ghost Runner 2 gives a cyberpunk speed running and wall crawling on a motorcycle sort of weird driving shooting game. Lots of swords. One of 2015's best shooters is getting a sequel on PS5 and PC, and only took 2 years. Immortals of Avium got a magic-filled trailer. Phantom Blade, More Blades 0, is bringing intense samurai souls action to PS5. And just when you thought Journey was the prettiest game out there, it's artist revealed Swords of the Sea, which is Journey on a skateboard.
Right.
The Talos Principle 2 is real and it's coming to PS5 later this year. Okay, puzzly type thing. Neva is the next game from Grist developer and probably the next game to break my heart.
Yeah, so by the way, I took this off of a website. I forgot the name of the website to get the rundown. I just wanted a brief, quick rundown of each game. So there's some personalization in here.
Okay, that's okay. It's fine. Okay, yeah, Cat Quest is Pussies of the Caribbean. Yes,
I'm all
exactly.
Pirate Pussies, and that was quite interesting because they were on a map and then they jumped into like a Toy Story room. That looked kind of fun. Square Enix, they debuted Foam Stars, which looks like the Nintendo Splatoon game with foam. The Plucky Squire got another awesome trailer. Teardown, the best heist game you've never played, is coming to PS5. Metal Gear Solid 3, as we've mentioned, and the Metal Gear Solid Collection is the whole trilogy is coming to PS5. Tars of Aghajba, a prehistoric survival game full of critters. Final Fantasy 16, we all went to sleep. And then Alan Wake 2, I shouted that one, absolutely. Alan Wake 2 looks like another, like a police person character. Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming very soon. I thought it was a remake of Assassin's Creed 2 when I first seen it. It looked a bit basic. Revenant Hill may not be Night in the Woods 2, but it certainly looks like it. Grand Blue Fantasy, Street Fighter 6 got a new character. Ultras, a stunning new looped-based adventure. Dragon's Dogma 2. Five Nights at Freddy's, Help Wanted 2, Resident Evil 4 in VR, Arizona Sunshine, PSVR 2, Crossfire Sierra Squad, Synapse.
Crossfire Sierra Squad, that's the same people that made the Crossfire game that came out on Xbox that was supposed to be the Call of Duty killer, just as a little background.
There's an interesting,
don't expect much from that game.
Interesting thing, about 3 years late, Beat Saber is coming to PSVR 2. It is there now. Destiny 2 is rumoured to revival of Marathon. It's pre-Halo shooter. Destiny 2, the final shape, is getting its own showcase and looks like Cade is back. Concord is a competitive FPS from Destiny veterans, and dedicated PlayStation streaming handheld device announced as Project Q. We all hated Q from Star Trek The Next Generation, so I can't imagine we like this either. The dedicated device to stream games from your PS5 via Wi-Fi remote play with an 8-inch screen. Liar. All buttons and features on the DualShock controller, and no release window or pricing was mentioned. The PS5 earbuds are real and will deliver lossless, low latency audio compatible with all your Sony devices. And no release date or pricing. And Marvel's Spider-Man 2 trailer introduces Craven. That's John Craven. It's news round. Shows off Symbiote suit and fall 2023 release date. Symbiote.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
The showcase was really built up. A lot of people were expecting huge things because this was the first actual Sony showcase event since like 2019. So like pre-COVID. They've had their state of plays, but this was a showcase event. People really had high expectations. And the very kind of letdown, I think, for this show was the fact that Sony first party really didn't show. We didn't see Naughty Dog. We didn't see anything other than Spider-Man 2, which we already knew was coming, which, I mean, it looks great. Although I question the water a little bit, but that's just me. But the gameplay looks fantastic. Looks like it's going to be a great game. But then it was like, okay, Destiny 2, but that's multiplayer. In fact, Xbox took a shot at the Sony showcase. They took a whole bunch of the games that came out of the Sony showcase and put it on a tweet and said, what a great collection of games. These are all the games that are actually coming to Xbox as well. But that was the feeling. The feeling was this didn't feel like a showcase event. A lot of people, kind of graded this middling. I think a lot of ultimately kind of that C range. It was just okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It wasn't what people really hoped. And, a lot of people thought, oh, this is their moment. They're going to be able to bury Xbox and really put Nintendo behind as well because they've got all this momentum going. And they just, it was just curiously missing a lot of that first party feel. I also would, I think the interesting vibe from this was there was a lot of games as services kind of coming from this showcase event. And I feel like that's a direction Jim Ryan really wants to take Sony. He's talked about it. It's going to be really interesting to see Sony's, their trajectory here moving forward. If the games of services really is going to take kind of a front seat, and we have a story that's kind of going to allude a little bit to that, I think. But anyway, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on it. I don't know if any of you guys watched this event at all.
I watched it. Yeah, and some stuff was interesting. I mean, I kind of thought Ghost of Tsushima. There was all the swords bit over the last couple of years, and then it looked like quite a lot of this at the beginning was people jumping on the bandwagon of swordy Japanese games. Snake Eater stuff got me. I'm interested in that, and a few other little bits and pieces. Alan Wake, because I loved the first one. But yeah. The
game we forgot to say was the one where we said was the best shooter is getting a sequel. It's Helldivers 2.
Oh yeah,
I think that looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's a Starship Trooper kind of clone or ripoff. It looks good. Interestingly, they went third person again with this. It used to be a top-down shooter, but Sony likes their third person over the shoulder games, and that game is now going that direction as well.
Okay.
I think the reason why I haven't seen this is because I didn't want to see any footage from Spider-Man. And I also didn't want to see anything from Street Fighter 6 neither, because I don't know if we was on about getting that game. We didn't bother with Street Fighter 5, but 6, I don't know, something different. And yeah, Spider-Man. It was a good. The first Spider-Man was great, wasn't it, on the PS4 when that came out? So didn't really want to spoil anything for that, so we just didn't.
I think you're going to be very happy with Spider-Man 2, Pete.
There we go.
Good puzzles. Good puzzles.
I mean, yeah, it's a solid game, and Insomniac's a great developer. And I hate to break it to you, Pete, but Street Fighter 2, it's fighting.
Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6. Sorry, fighting.
The Last of Us multiplayer game has reportedly been scaled back. Sony has reportedly scaled back the size of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us multiplayer game following an evaluation of the project by platform holder and newly acquired Bungie. According to Bloomberg, the number of people working on the project has been reduced, partly as a result of the Destiny Studios' feedback as to its quality and, I would say in bold, viability. Bungie has raised questions about the Last of Us multiplayer project's ability to keep players engaged for a long period of time, which led to the reassessment. The Bloomberg report claims. Shortly before the Bloomberg report, Naughty Dog seemingly preempted the story with a statement of online media. I'll read it. We know many of you have been...
That's the tweet on the next page, by the way, Robin.
Okay, you know many of us have been looking forward to hearing about our Last of Us multiplayer game. We're incredibly proud of our job our studio has done thus far, but development has continued. We've realised that it's best for the game is to give it more time. Our team will continue to work on the project, as well as our other games in development, including brand new single-player experience. We look forward to sharing more with you soon. We're grateful to our fantastic community for your support. Thank you for your passion for our games. It continues to drive us, and we'll work for food.
So this is curious. You know, so the report is saying Bungie's actually the one that kind of has pulled this game back and said, you know, it's not good enough. I knew that they were bringing on Bungie for their expertise. I find it very interesting that Bungie has been kind of given this authority to kind of have this, I mean, ultimate say that Naughty Dog isn't, you know, the game that they're producing isn't up to snuff.
There you go. Funny. I mean,
does seem weird.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, of course, we can't leave the show without one of these. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh my goodness. Oh, I just peed.
Bless you.
Microsoft reveals CMA appeal grounds and says the UK regulator overestimates the role of cloud streaming. The grounds claim that, according to Microsoft, the CMA made errors in assessing Microsoft's position in cloud gaming services by failing to take into account the constraints from native gaming. The CMA failed to take into account of 3 long-term commercial agreements Microsoft has entered into with cloud gaming providers, and that Activision would have likely made its games available on cloud services without the merger was irrational and arrived at in a procedurally unfair manner. The CMA's claim that Microsoft would have the ability to incentivize to foreclosure rival cloud gaming services by withholding access to Activision's games was unlawful, and overall the CMA's decision was a breach of its common law, duty of fairness, and its own remedies guidance. Those are lots of words.
Subnotes, Microsoft is fighting the CMA's decision, and they're appealing, and we'll see.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Go Microsoft.
That's the news.
That's the news.
Kim.
Yes.
You've been so silent. I think you need to talk.
Well, and half of that is because my microphone keeps muting itself, and then, you know, I don't know it, and there we are. Alrighty. So
could be worse. Your camera
new
could have frozen.
releases for this week are Chicory, A Colorful Tale for the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One. That's out May 30th. I actually almost bought that, but it's also coming to Game Pass from what I know. So, hey, saving me some money.
For once.
We like
For
that.
once, Kim.
Right. Company of Heroes 3 for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, also on May 30th. System Shock for PC on May 30th as well. Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection for the Switch and PC on June 1st. Killer Frequency for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S. The Quest, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, June 1st as well. Skatebird for the PS5 and PS4, June 1st. Street Fighter 6 for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and PC, June 2nd. Super Mega Baseball 4. Really? There's 4 of these? Huh, I didn't know that. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, June 2nd. We Love Katamari Reroll, Royal Reverie. I've never played one of those games, believe it or not. Probably because I couldn't announce it either. Anyway, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on June 2nd. And just for Robin, we have Crazy White Asians. I have no idea when that will be out, but apparently that's a new release too. So,
yeah, that was Robin's name for his machine, and I think it bore out once he drank more. It went from Crazy Rich Asians to Crazy White Asians.
I love those Crazy White Asians. Anyway, there you go.
Oh goodness.
So enjoy.
Yeah, and probably worth noting, if you have the Ultimate Edition of Diablo on June 1st, you will get access to the game.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Play dates. Okay, Wednesdays and Fridays there'll be Halo and PUBG maybe. And if you come and join the Discord server from Bongos Bits, if you go to Bongos Bits on the YouTubes, you'll see a link to join the Discord server, and we have a private racing server. In fact, the community are doing a little race in about 20 minutes time, so you're more than welcome to come along, and you can get access to that on Assetto Corsa Competizione Pizza. So Jason has
They'll
now
be making both left and right turns.
Yep. Jason has now got his license, and Mark has got his license. More people joining all the time. It's absolutely fabulous in there. They had great fun when I was away. So that's that. So join Wednesday nights 8 p.m. 9 o'clock for about an hour on the Wednesday evenings, and about 9 o'clock on a Friday. If we're about, just grab us and we'll play.
Brilliant. See, we need to make, Robin, we need to add notes. ACC, part of the Wednesday night.
So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Love it.
Exactly. Thank you, Fraser. Okay.
The only thing you didn't talk about, Las Vegas was the T-shirt.
Well, yes, I forgot. Yes, I did wear the I Love MILFs T-shirt when we went to Topgolf. The best part about that is I put the shirt on for Robin. Robin comes in the room and he just smiles, right? Because he's like, okay, all right. So we get in the elevator, and as we're getting in the elevator, there's a couple in the elevator already.
Yeah.
They both look at the shirt, and I'm just expecting eye rolls or some kind of snarky comment. And the woman looks at me and she's just fuck yeah.
Yeah, they were going to invite us back up to the room if we had went further. I got that feeling. Vibe. Yeah. Yeah, but you either got laughs or scowls all night. It was the men were threatened.
Yeah. And it did work against me at the blackjack table. The Lisa, our least favorite blackjack dealer, hated the shirt and decided to take $100 from me. So.
Oh well.
No humor. No, exactly. No sense of humor. Come on.
There we go.
Jeez.
That's that. That's a show.
Yeah, that's that. That's a show.
Wow.
Any shout outs real quickly?
Yeah, to the Vegas team. Thank you guys. You all really gave 110%, sometimes even 120% when we were there, and it made our weekend fabulous. So thank you, Greg, Pete, Mike and Marsh. It was brilliant. Thank you. Sorry everybody we didn't do a show last week. We intended to, but we were too drunk. So that's kind of what
I do have one more story to share. Actually,
okay, go. What did you do?
So not only did we have the elevator T-shirt fiasco, but actually on my way to Vegas, I'm at the airport. I get a phone call from my son's school. And it's my son's school nurse, and she's like, your son is not looking really good right now. He looks like he's got some kind of cold coming on. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I'm afraid he might go into seizure. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, call my wife. I'm getting ready to get on a plane, but call my wife, let her know, and we'll probably have her come pick him up, that kind of thing. So about 15 minutes or so later, I get another call, and I see it's coming from the school again. This is a different nurse now. And she's like, just want to let you know, we just called 911, and your son is on his way to ER. He's had a major seizure. And I'm like, literally they're calling boarding for the plane. And I'm like, okay. And so I'm calling my wife real fast. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, don't worry about it.
Greg.
Yeah. She's like, don't worry about it. Just get on the plane. Go enjoy Vegas. And I'm like, how can I do that? My son's going. And she's like, no. He's fine.
Yeah, the Jack Daniels in the room really helped.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels usually does help. You know.
Yes, it does. It does.
Anyway.
But so I get to Vegas. I land. I get a call back from my wife. He's fine. But that, basically he got the cold that my wife gave to me, and it just lingered with both of us. And the funny part was the entire weekend I was trying to get this cough is still not gone away, Robin.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's still just lingering along. I feel perfectly fine, but I have this just nagging cough. It just won't go away. yeah, so that made for an interesting start to the trip, but
I
did not.
I thought the semen
take
shot
away.
would have helped.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we left a lot of alcohol behind. That's the other sad
we did do
part
that.
about the trip.
To go back. Okay,
Take it with us.
the Overseas Podcast has left the building. Unless anybody else has anything to say.
Well, I probably ought to
Robin.
shout out the Shatters, right?
Oh yeah, frig me.
Probably ought to do that, Alrighty, our Shatters today were Boomer,
Boomer,
Lord, Step J,
Lord,
Martin,
Step J.
and Hardly Dan.
Hardly
So
Dan.
thanks, guys, for
Guys.
jumping in the chat.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Love it.
Robin just wants to get off this real fast because he's got
I
his
need a
race
pee.
coming up.
I need a pee, please, Bob.
He's like, go, let's go.
Hurry it up. Go fast.
All right.
Turn us off, Robin.
Shout out to the wives for letting us
Oh
go.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Can't. Next time we will let you go to Fresno, and we'll still go to Vegas.
I am.
All right, that's it. We're done.
Right, see us.
Hit the button.
Toodles.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.